From the University of North Dakota, this is Inside Fighting Sioux Hockey.
Hello and welcome to Inside Fighting Sioux Hockey. I'm Tim Hennessy. It's playoff time in the WCHA, and the Sioux go in on a roll, dispatching Michigan Tech twice to run their unbeaten streak to 9 games. It was a beatdown in the UP, with the Sioux winning Friday night 6-1, Saturday 11-2. Got a great show for you with a full lineup today. Dillon Simpson came to North Dakota at the tender age of 17 and has fit right in at UND, both in the classroom and on the ice. He's the youngest player in Division I college hockey, and he's the subject of our player profile. And for Sioux senior Brent Davidson, it hasn't been all about hockey in his 4 years at UND. The Manitoba native has been busy making a difference in the community. Stick around, Coach Hakstol is going to give us his take on a couple of dominating wins at Michigan Tech. But before we talk to the coach, we have a question for you. Which one of these former Sioux players was not a captain at UND? That answer and more when we come back. You're watching Inside Fighting Sioux Hockey.
Inside Fighting Sioux Hockey is sponsored by Verizon, the University of North Dakota, Shields, Grand Forks Convention and Visitors Bureau, Baller Insurance, and Dahlstrom Motors.
They're coming. Seems like from every wireless carrier. You may have heard them already. The dapcasting, the empty comparisons, while they shout them at the top of their lungs to try to blur the lines. In the end, just ask yourself, does the network work? This is America's largest and most reliable network. Verizon, built so you can rule the air.
So overall, this is going to have a $300 million impact.
North Dakota Spirit, the campaign for the University of North Dakota. Join us.
It's a place to diddly pop shop, put shopping into overdrive. A great place to wine and dine, make a taste for jump and jive. Yeah, it's Great Forks, a great destination. Great Forks, they don't call it Grand for nothing. Stop, chopped up into Great Forks, it's simply grand.
Before the break, we asked you which one of these former Sioux players was not a captain at UND. And the answer is Zach Parisi. When he was a freshman, the captain was Ryan Hale. When he was a sophomore, it was Andy Schneider at UND. Parisi is, of course, one of the captains of the New Jersey Devils in the NHL and is back skating, actually, after being out injured this entire NHL season. Welcome back to Inside Fighting Sioux Hockey. I'm Tim Hennessy with Coach Dave Hakstol. Coach, I guess that's a little odd, isn't it, that a guy like Zach Parisi, but that just shows you the character and the level of players that are at UND when a guy like him can't be a captain, huh?
Yeah, no question. He's one of the best captains in the National Hockey League, one of the best players in the National Hockey League. So hoping to see him back on the ice very soon.
He's back skating, as I understand, and hopefully he'll be playing before the end of the year.
Yeah, he's got a chance. The Devils are on a great run, so it'd be nice to see him be part of that.
Well, you go up to close out the regular season in the UP against Michigan Tech, and on Friday night, we'll go right to the highlights here, and because there's a lot of them. You get a 6-1 win in that game. Really 1-1 about halfway through the game, and then they kind of broke it open after that, huh?
Yeah, Friday night was a tight game. We hadn't given up a whole lot, but you know, it was still a 1-1 game at that point of the hockey game, and kind of a game-breaking play that we're going to see coming up on a highlight here by Matt Fratton. Blew this game open for us, and we got 3 quick ones. Here's the play by Matt. We'll see a couple of looks at it.
How about that move? And you pointed out after, the most impressive thing was he went low short side, because the ticket on him is high glove side.
Yeah, he's really started to mix it up. You know, he scored last weekend on a breakaway. between the legs. This one short side, and he's mixing it up, and he's doing it in a lot of different ways.
And that one, he storms off the wall. Nobody was going to stop him. Makes a good feed to finish off the play for another goal.
Great play by everybody. Good play by Jason Gregoire. Great pass by Matt Fratton, and real good read by Ben Blood to jump in on the play.
This was an atmosphere really at Michigan Tech where you had to generate your own excitement, your own enthusiasm, and you just seemed to go businesslike about it and make things happen, huh?
Yeah, we had we had a few goals in mind on the weekend that we wanted to try to accomplish, and we really stayed focused on those goals through both games, not just one game.
Brad Malone said that he better finish that playoff, or Matt Fratton wouldn't have been very happy with him at all because all the times you set him up and he hasn't scored.
Yeah, Matt Fratton, and what we didn't see in the screen there was Evan Trupp in a little bit of a wrestling match with somebody that he gave away about, I think, maybe about a foot and about 40 pounds to. So Brad had a little pressure on him there to finish off that play.
I'd like to see that one. Then it comes Saturday night, and really not real good crowds at Michigan Tech, but kind of understandable, I guess. But you got off to such a great start. It's 2-0, 49 seconds or whatever it was into the first period.
Well, our first two shifts were good, and obviously the Malone Trupp Fratton line went out and set the tone and did a good job. And that really set the tone for the early part of the first period, but also for, I thought, the entire 60 minutes. We did a pretty good job of staying with the way we wanted to play, staying away from getting too sloppy. And I thought that out of the night, that was one of the real positives for us.
Well, you scored every which way too. You scored shorthanded, you scored even strength, you scored 4-on-4, you scored on the power play, and you dealt it around. The individuals like getting different guys getting in on the scoring line.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys, a lot of different guys involved, and that's a good thing. As long as we're doing it the right way, it's a good thing going into playoffs to have guys feeling good about the way they're playing, about their contributions. But again, the key is, not getting into a mode of starting to cheat on different plays, and I didn't think we had that in our game. We stayed pretty tight within our structure through the 60 minutes.
I'm wondering what you say to them after, say, the first period there when it's 6-1, or do you say anything?
I didn't say anything to the team. This is a leadership-driven group. They know the right things. They know what we wanted to try to accomplish going into the game. There were no adjustments that we need to make, and the last thing they needed to hear was a 30-second empty speech. They know what we had to do.
So you went up and got some popcorn, whatever, and just
I sat in my spot in the locker room, in the coach's room, and stayed where I belonged in that intermission.
A great sweep over the weekend and out the regular season, 9 in a row unbeaten. Coming up, it's the opening round of the WCHA playoffs. The top 6 teams host a best-of-3 game series to determine the WCHA Final 5. And no player has worked harder to make himself better and land a spot in the Sioux lineup. But there's much more to Brent Davidson than meets the eye. We'll see how Davidson is making a difference. That's next in our feature story coming up.
And now your UND and Me starting lineup.
Justine Johnson, sophomore, nursing, Duluth, Minnesota.
Jake Baker, sophomore in aviation management and UAS operations, Seattle, Washington.
Hannah Morehouse, junior, investments pre-law, Valley City, North Dakota.
Jessica Leach, senior, communication, Manville, North Dakota.
Be what you want at UND. Go.und.edu.
When I play around the golf, most of the time it feels natural. My goal's always been to be one of the few people to say that they can shoot in the 60s. The strongest part of my game is putting and chipping. When I was a junior in high school, took second in state. I believe golf is the greatest game ever. There's going to be ups and downs, and there's nothing you can do about it. You have to have fun while you're playing golf. I think I can make it enjoyable for anyone. I am Justin Gerke, and I'm a golf expert at Shields.
When the drum beats go like this. Jackson Park. When the drum beats go like this.
For information about summer hockey camps, go to fightingsioux.com or call 701-777-6595.
The Insurance Puzzle, Each piece is specific to you and your business. Each part fits in its own way, with only one combination that works best. Every organization has its own individual insurance puzzle. The key is to find your very own solution. Voller Insurance can help. We've been tailoring insurance solutions since 1947, providing VIP service one business at a time. Let us help solve your insurance puzzle. Voller Insurance, Grand Forks, Fargo, Bismarck, Minneapolis, Sioux Falls.
He started golfing when he was 5 years old, worked at a golf course at the age of 10. So doing an internship on the links is par for the course. He also devotes time to Special Olympics and reading to kids. We talked to this busy Fighting Sioux senior about what he does to make a difference.
Good afternoon, Ray Richards Golf Course. Mr. Cruz, how are you? Great day. If you play hockey in the winter, you got to find a sport in the summer, and golf's just right there. It's a great sport. I could do a 120 or a 144. Having my internship at Ray Richards Golf Course is, is something a little bit new, but working at a golf course wasn't new for me. Just the two of you?
Just one.
Just yourself? I like to interact with the people. If somebody comes in and, asks me about the hockey season, I'll talk to them about the hockey season. Or if they simple ask of, I'm slicing the ball or I'm hooking the ball in golf.
Are you on your team?
Yeah, you can. I was fortunate enough to land a spot here at North Dakota, and I want to do everything possible to not make sure that, my name's good, but make sure that the men's hockey team name's good. Yep, that just happened. Did we just become best friends? Yep. For the kids at school, just be there, interact with them. Sometimes I go and read to the kids. Other times, if they're not in reading sessions, so to speak, I'll go to gym class with them, or I'll go to music, and just to be interacting with them. They look up to the UND athletes here, and I think it's a good thing that all athletes should try and do, is give back to the community. This is the championship team right here. Give them the number one. We're gonna win this, right, boys? They just put a smile on our faces, and you're there for an hour and a half, and I bet you I'm smiling for an hour and 25 minutes. Everywhere I've gone, everywhere I've been, I've always had adversity, whether it be, people saying you're too slow, you're not good enough, you're not skilled enough. Always gonna be Sioux first, Davidson second. So you put the team first, and I always think the harder I'm working in practice to try and take somebody else's spot, the harder they gotta work to maintain their spot. So not only am I gonna improve, but they're gonna improve, which means the team's gonna improve. When I broke my leg, I knew that I had to come through, and I had to put in extra effort, whether it be on the ice, in the weight room, and I think that's what brought me to where I am today. You're maybe not the most talented guy out there, but you're never gonna say never. Nothing's gonna stop you.
Davidson says playing in last year's run of 6 games in 9 days and winning the WCHA Final 5 will be something that he will never forget. He has his sights set on a personal training position for a college hockey team after his graduation. Well, we have more of your questions for Coach Hakstol coming in, and the return to the lineup of a couple of veterans on Saturday at Michigan Tech. That and more coming up when Inside Fighting Sioux Hockey continues.
This is a place where innovation abounds, a place where dreams come true, a place where creativity is a way of life, a place that fires our soul. Join us for the North Dakota Spirit Campaign. Together, we will shape the future of UND and North Dakota.
Shopping into overdrive. A great place to wine and dine, make a taste for jump and jive. Yeah, it's great Forks, a great destination. Great Forks, they don't call it grand for nothing. Stop, shopped up into Great Forks. It's simply grand.
The University of North Dakota is a place where students thrive, where they learn from leading experts, share in discoveries, and create knowledge. Experience our expertise. Creative, innovative, entrepreneurial, spirited. This is the University of North Dakota.
Dreams are forged. Character is tested. Teams are united. Champions win here. Watch the crowning of a new NCAA Men's Frozen Four champion April 7th and 9th on ESPN and ESPN2 in high definition. For information, visit ncaa.com/Frozen4.
Welcome back to Inside Fighting Sioux Hockey with Coach Dave Hakstol. I'm Tim Hennessy. Final standings in the WCHA determining who plays who this weekend in the top six, or the playoffs to determine who goes to the Final Five. You win the championship. Congratulations again. You're going to hang another banner in Ralph Engelstad Arena. And I know despite a void of emotion that the team showed on the outside, I know that they're very excited about it on the inside when I talk to them, and I think that's pretty grand, especially the guys who were around here for the one a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, and now they seem to go, wow, this is really something when we got another one.
Yeah, no, I think our players have a pretty good appreciation for what they accomplished through the regular season. They take a lot of pride in it. It's it's something that, as you mentioned, maybe we haven't seen a ton of emotion outwardly, but something that means an awful lot to the players in that locker room.
I think something meant an awful lot on Saturday night, too, because Che Genoway returned to your lineup at Michigan Tech, and along with another veteran, Brad Eidsness, in goal for you. A couple of great signs, starting with Che Genoway, and he looked as nimble as ever out there.
Yeah, it's been a long process for Che over the last 5 weeks, and he's worked real hard individually on his own and gone through some of the rigors of rehab. But we saw some of the payoff of that on Saturday night. It was nice to be able to get him back into game action before we go into a playoff series. He didn't play his usual 25, 28 minutes, but he got a real good solid 15, 16 minutes in, and it was a good night for him.
And then Brad Eidsness back in, gets the start, gets his 50th career win, as a matter of fact. And boy, there are a lot of teams that would love to have a guy sitting behind the starting goaltender like Brad Eidsness. But important to get him in the game, wasn't it?
Very important to get him in the game, and very important performance for him. He proved where he's at. He played very well. We've known for the last couple of months that his game is back on track. He's practiced at a high level. He's practiced with great confidence, and for him to go back in there, have a good performance again before we go into the playoffs, to give us that depth at the goaltending position, I think is real important for our team, and a great step for Brad.
Dave, we talked about it. It wasn't just throwing him a bone. As everybody knows, has been around here a while, you've got to have a couple guys ready for sure.
Absolutely. We've talked about that at great length. I mean, we need to have Brad going. We need to have him ready to win games for our team, and it was part of the process through this weekend. It was one of the things that we wanted to try to accomplish going into the final weekend of the WCHA regular season.
Well, we've asked for email questions throughout the season here on Inside Fighting Sioux Hockey, and here's one from Lou in Fargo. He wants to know how UND was chosen to host the Icebreaker Tournament next year, October 7th through the 8th, next season, and how are the teams chosen for that tournament?
Well, the commissioners actually are in control of, the commissioners from the different leagues around the country are in control of the Icebreaker Tournament and the business that surrounds the Icebreaker Tournament, which includes obviously host site, and venue, as well as the teams that are involved. So
those games count?
The games absolutely count. Absolutely, they count. They're exempt games on your schedule, but they count in the final pairwise. So they're important games, and for us, we're thrilled to be in the tournament. We were in the tournament three years ago. It's a great opportunity, and to be able to host it here in Grand Forks is going to be a real good opportunity. And I know that our community and REA will do a great job of hosting this event.
We're looking forward to it, no doubt. Well, he joins a long list of Alberta Junior League All-Stars at UND. And what's it like being the youngest player in college hockey? A visit with Dillon Simpson is coming up on our player profile. We'll get to that, but first a look back on our Fighting Sioux history. He was a two-time American Hockey League Defenseman of the Year. Sioux fans remember him for his open ice hip checks that made opponents airborne. But where is Curtis Murphy now? We'll have that answer and more when we come back.
When the jump beats go like this. Jackson Park. When the jump beats go like this.
For information about summer hockey camps, go to fightingsioux.com or call 701-777-6595.
The 2011 Red Baron WCHA Final Five returns to the XL Energy Center March 17th through the 19th. With 2 new teams in the WCHA Conference, the tournament is now 6 teams strong. Plus, you can catch a Minnesota Wild game on Saturday afternoon when the Wild take on Columbus, followed by WCHA Fan Fest and the championship game of the tournament Saturday night. Visit XLEnergyCenter.com or stop on by the XL Energy Center box office.
There's no better way for me to start my day than with a good run. There's really no other exercise that gives you the same feeling. I ran the Lincoln Marathon. It was a great experience, and the adrenaline from the crowd was amazing. If you can get yourself to go for the run, it's going to feel good, and you're going to feel good mentally. When I help somebody, I like to ask them what they're training for and what's motivating them. I'm Missy Kahn, and I'm a running expert at Shields.
The answer to our "Where are they now?" question: Curtis Murphy has been in the Swiss A-League for the past 4 years after an outstanding career in the American League. Well, his father is the lead analyst for Hockey Night in Canada. Maybe someday he'll be calling his son's name in an NHL game. Here's our visit with freshman Dillon Simpson. We're with North Dakota freshman defenseman Dillon Simpson. Dillon, you call Edmonton hometown, or basically where you grew up?
Yes, I was born there. Spent a couple years in Buffalo after that, and then came back to Edmonton and been there ever since.
Start playing hockey after you came back to Edmonton?
Yeah, I started skating when I was little in Buffalo, but hockey started when I came back to Edmonton.
If your dad wasn't the guy that he was, the hockey player that he was, you think you would have still been involved in hockey?
It's tough to say. I'd like to think so. Up in Canada, that's pretty much all you do growing up, but yeah, I guess him playing had a big part in it, but
would he have given you a chance to not play?
Probably not, I'm sure.
Really?
I'm sure he wanted a hockey player as a son, so.
When did you know you wanted to play?
Growing up, I always played for fun and didn't really think about it, but I don't know, once the ages like 11 and 12 hit, kind of pursue it and go with it.
What age do you find out that you're any good at it?
Oh, I'd say Bantam, once you start playing against top-end players, bigger guys.
Well, you've been playing against older guys your whole life, though, huh?
Yeah, last couple years for sure.
You get a hard time about that?
Get some jokes about it, and it's not too bad. I'm used to it now, but at first, yeah.
Dillon, everybody in college hockey ranks knew about Dillon Simpson and the potential and that type of thing. Thought you might be in college next year. You decided to accelerate school, education, and get here this year. How come?
Yeah, going into grade 9, I talked to my parents, and my dad did the same thing growing up. He accelerated, so kind of seemed like a good option, even if I wasn't good enough to come or play this year or talk to any schools. At least I have the opportunity if I'm done. So going into grade 9, I started accelerating and did, well, I guess down here, 4 years of high school in 3 years.
And he played at Michigan State. How did you not end up at Michigan State?
Yeah, he didn't really push me into it. He wanted me to do my own thing and go where I wanted to go. So I looked into it, but North Dakota was my choice.
I'm guessing you got a visit there.
Yeah, I went with him when I was a little younger, not last year, but 2 years ago. I just watched a game with him, and he showed me around. So.
How's school been for you at the UND?
It's been great. It's been not too busy and getting used to the lifestyle, and it's been a lot of fun.
So the accelerating, all that, you still pick up right where you had to?
No breaks in school, but it's been good.
Dillon, good luck. Thanks for
you.
this. Appreciate
Thanks.
it. Dillon Simpson, North Dakota freshman defenseman. Can you imagine at 17 years old playing Division I college hockey and being a 4.0 student as well? Well, that's Dillon Simpson, and his name will be called at the NHL draft this year. It's a rematch of last week's series when the Sioux take on the Tech Huskies in the opening round of the WCHA playoffs. We'll talk about that with the coach when Inside Fighting Sioux Hockey continues.
Inside Fighting Sioux Hockey is sponsored by Verizon, the University of North Dakota, Shields, Grand Forks Convention and Visitors Bureau, Baller Insurance, and Dahlstrom Motors.
And now your UND&Me starting lineup.
Kate Wilson, sophomore, English education, Rochester, Minnesota.
Dalford John, freshman in commercial aviation, Grenada, West Indies.
Jake Baker, sophomore in aviation management and UAS operations, Seattle, Washington.
Sinkeith Slater, senior, sociology, Minot, North Dakota.
Be what you want at UND. Go.und.edu.
Studio One is a television show produced by staff and students at the University of North Dakota.
Here you actually get to do your own stories and you get to go out and talk to people and interview and learn about the cameras and everything that goes into like a live television production. I mean, it's incredible.
Give it a try. I mean, even if you're not broadcasting communications major, anything, I mean, it's worth it.
Welcome back to Inside Fighting Sioux Hockey with Coach Dave Hakstol. I'm Tim Hennessy. Coming up, I'll look at the Michigan Tech series, and you want to just make it the playoff series, the opening playoff series at Ralph Engelstad Arena, best 2 out of 3 with Michigan Tech. Talk about having to play a team back-to-back at least four times in a row.
Well, I don't know if it has a whole lot, much of a bearing really going into this weekend series. I thought there could have been an effect last Saturday. That was something that we talked about. But really now coming into this weekend series, we're starting a tournament for the Broadmoor Trophy. You have to win 4 games to have the opportunity to win the Broadmoor Trophy. And obviously it starts with weekend number 1. Best 2 out of 3. The fact that we play the same team that we finished the regular season against, I don't really think has a lot of a bearing other than familiarity on our preparation this week, Tim.
Well, it certainly didn't seem like last weekend that the guys were thinking a whole lot about who the opponent was. It was just kind of keeping things focused, and you did that. A very impressive, I thought, performance when you could have gotten a little sloppy, a little lazy. And so I would guess they will enter this one focused.
Well, it's going to be about our week of preparation, our week of practice, and how we, set our mentality going into the playoffs.
Well, you certainly don't want to play 3. I know that. Fans don't want to go there 3 in a row. We don't want to see 3 in a row.
Well, we'll take one game at a time. We'll take one game at a time. Friday night, we want to come out and we want to take advantage of the home ice advantage that we worked so hard for, and we'll take the next step after that.
Good luck, Coach. And we want to thank you for watching Inside Fighting Sioux Hockey this time around. Next week, we hope to be talking about a trip to St. Paul in the WCHA Final 5.
And you still have time to get in a question or a comment about the show. If you'd like to send us an email at thehockeyshow@und.edu.
On behalf of Coach Hakstol, that's him and the Sioux Hockey team, we thank all of our fans for watching Inside Fighting Sioux Hockey.